on, and the Scion in return. It's the retaliatory tariff for top lane ban. That's the slam down there for Rumble and Scion. And Maokai is also a bit of an unsurprising ban, because if you remember from EMEA Masters when Ratones won it all, Maokai was a pretty common ban for Los Ratones. I do not really like playing versus this, so getting rid of that one, put Noodle on something else.
Ooh, could it be a vibey one right here from Los Ratones? On blue side, they've done it multiple times, where if you look like a good angle from Baus, which it does usually, and he just takes it top lane, goes full glass cannon, Infinity Edge, Vi. However, that was a triple ban towards Baus, and I feel like they have done it a lot of the times where it's a triple ban towards Baus, they B1 the Vi, and they play with that in mind as a quote-unquote flex, but we all know where it's really going.
But question, if you pick something like that, you leave the Gwen available, and Velia likes to play the Gwen. This is not a Baus champion. So this is interesting.
Fun fact. Sorry, fun fact. Noodle was the Gwen player back in 2022 in the NLC. He was playing Gwen, Hecarim, and Xin Zhao. So that's actually really, really interesting to see that the Gwen has been taken away in this particular meta.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so is the Ambessa in response? I've got a sneaky suspicion that Verdant might even think this is a top lane Gwen, right? That they're actually picking Ambessa into this. But I'm not convinced. I don't think this is a Bausy style champion, to be honest. And you guys have highlighted, Velia can play it. So yeah, I would expect that more towards the jungle side.
I like
the Xin, on the other hand, though, so as Gwen is a champion, can skirmish once she's got her first item, right? But before that point, she's kind of crappy in the jungle, and a champion like Xin comes fresh out of the womb as a Giga Chad jungler, right? So this is like a really nice...
He was born like this.
He was born like it, right? And that's the one. So yeah, it's like, that's it. I think it's a great response into a champion.
So it's Gwen jungle and Vi top. Look,
or Gwen top and Vi jungle. You never know. They might listen. They might actually wake up one day and actually choose to play meta, and this will shock the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Now looking at the mid lane, as Azir is the one that jumps straight in mind.
The Jin.
Or Jin potentially into the Varus. This has been the two picks that we literally highlighted between the two players, and I feel like for Crowder, this is his fourth Jin in a row. If I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So
that's a magic number for Jim.
Pick the Varus and then go for the Azir. Just ban the Azir, and Los Ratones get confused. Is this it? Is this it? You take the Azir from Nemesis? Nah, champion pool is massive, so let's see what they land on. I was not expecting this, but at least it's a go button. It's a go button. Jin, careful.
Actually, Sivir is picked a lot into Vi, but what a lot of people forget about Vi is that when Vi ults, she can smite the shield off of Sivir, and then the knockup follows up from Sivir. So it's not really a counter to Vi if Vi has smite up, which she should, if she chooses to gank for a Sivir, or towards a Sivir rather. So I'm actually very interested because there's a lot of push on Sivir, so there's one, and I feel like maybe through that they might try to get the counter pick on R5 for Obstinatus into Reckless to try and get lane control through that.
If Vi is jungle. If...
This is the thing. I think having like shoving lanes and strong lane pro is very good into Gwen, because Gwen doesn't really like ganking that much. So if that's a read, then I think that certainly could work. And then you're sort of forcing Reckless into something with a bit more range. Like maybe he does slam in like the Lulu or maybe the Bard or something, because he doesn't like playing melee. He doesn't like getting shoved in and doesn't like playing melee champions into ranged matchups. He finds it pretty unplayable. So, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Sivir paired with something that can shove really hard. I know you've been harping on a Karma a lot here, Trouble, as well. Like we've seen like a Sivir Karma matchup pairing be really powerful with that like Empowered Mantra with the ultimate as well from Sivir. Like crazy things can happen there. So, let's see what direction Verdant decide to go here in that bot lane.
But they're going to save it? Okay. Tell me, Turbo.
Actually, I'm very surprised that they banned both Syncex's champions that make a lot of sense together with the Zins. That would make them a really powerful mid-jungle duo. But what's really more surprising is that they actually prioritizing the counter pick for Senkax right here. And we've talked a lot about how much experience Senkax is bringing into this roster. He has like a 10+ year competitive experience, and I feel like giving him the counter pick into Nemesis, stabilizing the mid lane, is going to be the alpha and the omega of this particular game. So I really like the chances right here from Verdant to give that R5 to Senkax. Little caveat right here, Senkax does play Akali, and if potentially some sort of control mates comes through, like an Orianna from Nemesis that could be exploited by something like an Akali, we could potentially see that counter pick coming through.
Like that. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
We've got some pretty, you know, aggressive agency-filled lanes as well from with an Ambassador and maybe something aggressive mid. Okay, well, that's something. Ryze is a pretty unpopular champion in the meta right now, and something that, yeah, definitely can get punished by the likes of the Xin. Relatively short range and doesn't have his own escapes aside from rooting people, popping his speed, and then the phase rush as well if he opts into that one.
Wow.
Okay.
I love that. I love that. Just OG point and click CC to flash forward. Like, you see how
will play in the seeding stage. We have to favor Los Ratones. We have to think that they are going to get it done. But Verdant have really come together over the past couple of weeks and are looking like a pretty decent opponent.
Yeah. Today, opening game of the day, very, very solid stuff. Noodle had a very excellent early game on the Neferi. Champion was escaping my mind for a second. But all in all, I think Verdant running a very similar-ish theme composition, skirmishing jungler, and a lot of team fighting tools. Some snap engage, and for Los Ratones, nothing really feels too out of place. A Velia game on this Gwen. Be interesting to see how the Gwen performs in the jungle. We've been seeing it a lot around the world, but predominantly landing in the top lane. Of course, with Faust being in the top lane, the Vi is always a champion you have to always wonder if it's going to end up in his hands for this Los Ratones drafting in. In this game, it has engaged, though, from the top in the support role, and Reckless on the Rakan, which is about on brand for Reckless so far in his champion pool. Typically about as engagey as he gets.
Of course, Sivir there with the W start, able to get a lot of priority onto this lane early on and going for decently aggressive trade actually here onto Crowny. Both AD carries falling relatively low, but don't have the priority in terms of the wave at the moment.
Yeah, early shove. Not too surprised, and Nostlas does a very good job landing that crash down. Both these junglers are actually popping away from the bottom lane, so despite the very volatile start of that 2v2, I don't see junglers making their way down there anytime soon, unless Noodle does a complete 180, which I'm not necessarily expecting. As, yeah, Velia is also just going to continue on this full clear, so actually very curious about how quickly this Gwen is going to clear the jungle. Actually, the early buffs to the E cooldown is what really helps power Gwen through this clear. Gwen has always had a relatively... Is he going to go in? He has. I think I'm going to assume Tayron didn't have rotations, and of course he's also level 2, so...
Yeah. Not got everything that he'd necessarily want to have in this situation, and I will say, even though that top lane was being shoved to the felt like Tayron was getting decent end of trades, bot lane has gone very well for Verdant, with Crowny already being forced back. The early game here for Verdant giving us positive signs for how this game is going to turn out.
Yeah, so far, early on, it's not too bad. Noodle is finishing up that clear. Pretty big difference in clear speed between the Xin Zhao and the Gwen. Not many surprises, I would suspect. See if Velia is going to be able to get that double skull crab. He doesn't have prio in the mid lane, so he might have to pull Senkox back, as actually, this might be an okay-ish time. Talk about that, because Senkox is on Annie.
Yeah.
It's not something we see super often. Merwin did actually pick it up in the NLC in the top lane the other day to... I can't remember if he won. I just know he picked it, and it felt very on brand for Merwin.
Yeah, well, it does just feel very Merwin.
I will get confirmation for you in a moment's time, but either way, he's got the first strike, so that would indicate to me that he's going to go towards a slightly more bursty build, though there is always the opportunity that he does something a little bit more utility focused. We'll just have to wait and see. As the desk was highlighting, it's a relatively short range composition, so this can have a lot of value. Both junglers here eyeing up what's going down on the bottom side.
Obstinatus not going to be rooted up there as Noodle has gone aggressive onto Velia. Reckless doesn't have that grand entrance cooldown at the moment, so decides against going aggressive onto the enemy jungler. Both teams just sort of chilling out in the bottom lane. Tayron here with a level advantage might actually be thinking about going in onto the Baus here. He has to flash away, but the Ambess is just that little bit better. The rookie in the top lane for Verdant, taking down last split's rookie of the split.
Look, I made the joke in game 1. I'll make the joke here. At least the feat isn't first blood anymore, right? But it is... Oh, hello. A little bit of a heavy trade. Potentially the heal will try and equalize some of that out. I mentioned, because Obstinatus actually dropped the Ignite there. But Tyron, isn't it 2 Baus there? As, oh my goodness me. Flash isn't quite able to find that pullback auto. And now Nemesis is
here it
actually.
comes, the round warp. Obstinatus walking back up towards the mid lane. Shigenari fighting up against Crowny.
Everyone's going to walk away. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it happens like that. And...
there we are.
Yeah.
There we
now,
are.
the problem here is Noodle can just stop this. And this won't really be a big time waste for Noodle either.
Oh, he's already used the Q. He's going to get a turret shot as well.
6.
He's ticked over to level 6, but the skirmishing power of the Xin Zhao is absolutely immense. This is what the champion needs to do. Baus gets that knock up, and it's going to be another kill. And I think the crucial thing for me is that that was kind of just where Noodle was naturally pathing. It's not like Verdant had to send too many resources in order to secure that kill.
Yeah, opening through mid as well. Obstinatus, the grubs are up on the top side. Veli up. He get 1 grub, he did. He could get the second, he'd maybe tick over to level 6, but the collapse coming in from Tyron, and then of course that Obstinatus roam. He's also killed 2 grubs, so no whole objective going over for a feat. 2-1 for Verdant on the grubs, and that dragon is still up and available on the bottom side of the map, where it has to be said Verdant have had a bigger slice of the pie when it comes to the priority.
Yeah. I will say, as it stands, the Vals's prediction of 18k gold lead by 19 minutes is not looking particularly realistic. Los Ratones aren't going to be able to pick up this dragon as resets were coming through from members of Verdant, so still trading across the map, but very much both teams in an even position.
Very much so. Dragon will go down now. Just doing his best to get a little bit of poke in. How far do they want to go? You can see Nemesis is actually rotated over too.
Yeah,
it's going to force
really
Noodle
good
off of this blue buff. Again, the imminent threat of other members of Verdant collapsing always very real. I think what Los Ratones would love is actually for Crowny to hit level 6, because then he can offer up a lot of damage from a little bit further away without having to commit too much. I don't think they're going to be able to hit it off this bottom wave here. Velia's still trying to be a bit of a nuisance over here. He did hit level 6, and so did Reckless, so this skirmish just got a whole lot more frightening. We'll give over this blue buff, no doubt. Taking this fight, I feel like it would be a death wish for the game state.
Verdant look like they're thinking about it. Senkux does have the Tibbers, and he misses the stun onto Nemesis. It's not going to cost him too much now, but missed opportunity as Ultimate invested from the Baus, but Tayron just seems to have a little bit more in the tank. Doesn't dodge away from the Q, gets the grass proc. Very low mana here on the Vi. He's turning around. One more hit would do it. And the Baus gets a solo kill in reply to his opposite number.
Critically, Tayron missed the Q2 in the first rotation after he got ulted by Baus there, so doesn't get the execution. Baus finds his solo kill revenge back onto Tayron. That top lane is very, very volatile. It's old Vi versus new Vi.
Oh, Noodle.
Now that I thought about Noodle.
Noodle. Hits on the wind becomes lightning. Easy as you like.
Very easy
Just
pick
done
up.
a pretty good job of cleaning up the mess that is slowly becoming of this top lane.
Yeah. Positive trades here from Senkox as well. Nemesis already looking for a reset very soon. But yeah, it just occurred to me, Middlecore. I said it out loud as she was making the call about Noodle. It's old Vi. Well, you know, Vi.
Yeah.
It's not versus new one. The skill shot ultimate with. When you think about it, their kits are pretty identical. You know, just in slightly different ways. Like, all the mobility is baked into Vi's. All the mobility is baked into the passive for Mbessa. They both have a shield. They both have, like, a air quotes skill shot damage ability. And then their ultimate is almost the same. It's just one skill shot, one to play in clip. I just, you know, very identical. Anyway, we're going to drop that. Just going to leave it there.
I feel like you've uncovered a potential conspiracy.
It's just
The
seeing them
champion
play
design
against
team.
each other, you know? Ooh!
Ooh!
Okay.
Okay,
No ultimate
let's
from
take stock. Yeah, and no flash either.
Yeah.
Shigenari
what
escaping,
happened
just
there.
burning the barrier. So, yeah, not sure what happened there, but...
Oh no, we know. Definitely
Don't
know.
use the W word, man.
Grubs are up in 10 seconds, 5 seconds even. Los Ratones would definitely like, at the very least, pick up 2 after losing 2 out of the first batch.
Verdant needs to be very careful. Noodly actually going in for an aggressive maneuver. I'm not sure if that's the right play. Senkox does have that stun in pocket. And the threat of a load of damage, a load of AoE dropping on top of you is definitely something that Ratones need to respect as they're flashing defensively. And I'm going to be honest with you, Jamada, Los Ratones have not been pressured like this at any point in the split so
No,
far.
they haven't. I also really want to point out, Senkox has been very apprehensive about flashing forward. As I
As
said,
he does it immediately to get on top of Valia, and it's not worked out. Potentially a little bit too reckless as the Los Ratones support is able to get on over the wall. Valsi's here as well. 4v5, and Verdant still hanging around thinking about contesting, but I think you just got to run away from this one.
yeah, they're going to have to turn around. I mean, the entire mid-seat just didn't flash forward. And then that's what we get. I have to feel Senkox is maybe in his head a little bit about pulling the trigger for so long. But Los Ratones, the result is they pick up those grubs, all 3. Weren't able to find their target. Velia able to just stick it through all of the damage as
Went to clear the way, but Verdant were waiting for him, playing on the tendencies of the Los Ratones top laner. Not quite able to catch him out. I have to wonder, though, how much does that mistake from Senkox actually mean? Los Ratones have got a 500 gold lead. Is that too much for Verdant to come back into this game as they're converging on the top lane?
Yeah, they're going to pick up a few plays, but Velia's in a very good angle, off vision.
Oh, lovely dodge from the Baus. Still focused down under the tower, but
it's a
here
horror.
comes that Gwen, and Shigenari has been snipped to pieces.
It's a horror.
Noodle looks like he's going to get victimized as well here. Obstinata's probably going to fall down too. Verdant, you had 12 minutes of going toe-to-toe with Los Ratones, but your fun is well and truly over.
That's the kind of play that really makes you think we might be in a bit of trouble for the next 10 minutes or so. Ah, man. It's just overforced. I feel like Verdant really wanted to try and get something back after losing out on those grubs, the mid-sequence where they didn't really quite find anything. Noodle had to blow his flash. And that's kind of the result, and Los Ratones were in the right place at the right time. They weren't looking to make a play anywhere else. Dragon was, I want to say, just about up and available. But they weren't pathing down there. They're up on the top side already. And now as the dust settles on the map state, it just feels like what we're going to end up seeing is Crowny matches the shove from Shigenari for an extended period of time, and Nemesis on this rise is going to have side lane pressure. Should almost always be looking to rotate in first. The only way that Verdant can really break it is if they find a pocket of fog, use Senkox's ultimate, which he's used here, to try and poke out Baus a little bit, in order to find a big pick and find a play. They're going to have to try and overload numbers into a side lane, but without tempo, that's very difficult to do. You're going to have to sacrifice something in order to achieve that goal. So far, again, Verdant have just been very apprehensive about pulling the trigger as a unit.
If we think about those rotations, we say that Verdant need to be there faster. Nemesis has got a round warp. This Rise can be pretty much anywhere that he wants to be as Verdant look to mount a defense to this bot lane, and Tayron actually gets a very decent chunk onto the Rise, but you've got to watch Obstinatus, who's able to get on out of there. Noodle tanking up a little bit, opts to go back in onto Value and really not enjoying that decision and the consequences of it. Tayron rooted down now. Los Ratones are here. And Verdant are finding it very, very difficult to keep up.
That they are. That they are. Val's even winning out on this top side trade. Will he play one more wave? Will he commit the cardinal sin? He won't. He'll reset and that play on the bottom side. If the top side play was, you know, maybe the penultimate nail, this play, I'm gonna say quite final. But they just placed the nail in the slot, you know? It's getting ready to get slammed down. As again, Verdant just, I'm not gonna say caught asleep at the wheel, but not really expecting Los Ratones to have that many numbers there in that kind of fashion. It's the only thing I can really say. They were not quite sat in the bot side with their ducks in a row. They're punished for it.
So that gold lead now up to 4,000. I don't think we're quite gonna get another 14,000 in the next 3.5 minutes. But for Los Ratones, they will be anticipating a dead red nexus at the end of this game, and I think a lot of people watching will see that as the most likely outcome as well. Verdant have still got this shotgun nature of their composition. The Sivir is going to offer them ways to get in. The Rel, the Xin Zhao, the Annie, all of these are champions that can jump on top of you. Find the right scenario, but what the Los Ratones have been so good at is understanding what's going on the map, where they can stand, where's a little bit too risky. That's going to make those engage opportunities so few and far between.
Yeah. Fog of War is going to be their best friend. It'll be very limited resource, but they're going to have to use it very well. My major concern is to draw our minds back to the Venom Crest match earlier on tonight. That Verdant weren't particularly clinical for a lot of that game either. You know, it did feel like Venom Crest were just ever so slightly weaker. Faust, Tayron, is this just a fight to the death?
I think it might be. Really nice unstoppable there from Tayron, but he's still definitely on the losing end of this trade. Noodle is going to look to make it a little bit more unfair. Flash away from the Baus. No. Surely he's just dead here. That wall's coming up. Oh my word, every single time.
Without fail.
Without fail?
Without fail, it feels like.
He don't miss.
No, he does. Look,
he doesn't miss very often.
Oh,
and he hits pretty damn hard.
That's a pretty good example of not missing. By Tayron. Noodle's not going to be... We've played these games before.
You've seen this story before. Oh, he's not that way, mate. That's your base.
Oh no.
Oh no. No.
He's out.
He's out.
I think Reckless backstepped there for just the second whilst we had the fog turned on to Verdant's POV. My best guess anyway. 5,000 gold. Difference between Los Ratones and Verdant. And the items as well. Very representative of that. Sometimes you can have these kind of pseudo gold leads where there is definitely a gold lead, but
oh, very nice movement there from the Sivir. They're able to lock down Reckless, but of course he's playing Rakan, so he can just run on out of there. And meanwhile, Zenkux dies off screen. Noodle dies on it. It's Los Ratones. Doesn't matter whether we can see what they are doing. We know it's going to be good. And Obstinatus is feeling very, very bad right now.
You know, what was it? 18 at 19? They might hit 8. I think he might have added a 1 by accident. For a little bit of time here. Tier 2. Alright. hold on a second.
Just starting to get a little bit brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, my words, no.
It's a solid drift.
Oh, no! No!
Oh no.
That man has got a green driver's license, and I know that for a fact.
He's got P on the bumper. Recently passed. That's what he's got. There you go. Just over 10,000 gold. Dragon as well, Abby. Ladies and gentlemen, this game might be over. Reckless. Splashdown.
They caught out, but no, he's absolutely fine. RATONES reset the fight. Nemesis looking to get some people out of there.
Oh no.
Great escape, and Baus is left all on his lonesome. Trying to pick up one onto Shigenari. Dashes away with the Q. Obstinatus doesn't hit him with the stun.
Oh.
No! No! RATONES want stiffer competition. Verdant haven't really been able to tussle with them. It's on Ruddy's sack now. It's on Nord to get it all together. Baus is finally going to go down. But I'm not sure how much that's going to change the outcome of this game.
It's feeling like we might be waiting till playoffs. And deep in it at that. This game has been an absolute slaughter. Nothing more, nothing less. And it just feels like a lot of Verdant's issues this game have been relatively self-created. You know, it's been at their design. This isn't to take away from RATONES by any means. It feels like they've just kind of done what they've needed to do in many instances. Been where they need to be, playing for an objective. They just end up punishing Verdant for overzealous mistakes time and time again. I mean, hey, game like that, playing against a direct compare in the seeding stage of a group. Happy to accept it, right? Arms wide open. As, again, mentioned earlier, Verdant, they need to use Fog of War. That is going to be their best friend. They are attempting to use Fog of War. Reckless.
He was on Fnatic for a little bit. I think he understands how this works.
Yeah. All his hard work, though. One vision plant. Hard life support. Very, very hard life. Still got a ward down in the top side, at least, so... We'll have...
The important thing is space.
Yeah. You know, another former Fnatic player. I could tell you a thing or two about space. Playing in a support role.
RATONES get the Atakan. Even more power, as if they needed it. I think Verdant, they had the start of something at the beginning of this game. RATONES are going to look to finish it. Death like that from Baus, completely unnecessary. Doesn't need to be doing that, but again, for RATONES, there's still 10k gold to the goods. How much does that change the outcome of this game? Probably not by much.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Still, kick as a pick. Feels good. You know, I liked what you said earlier. It's a morale kill. You know, it's like, guys, we killed the demon. He's died 5 times, and you press tab. You look at the rest of the team, and no one's died at all.
And I think to say something for Verdant, right? Because it was early on in this game. This is a very new roster.
Yeah.
Got a load of players that haven't played much before. Like, we heard about the 4 scrims before their 2-0 week last time out, and whilst this is a demoralizing situation, I feel like this team is only going to be getting better. They're only going to be improving. Those mid-game issues with understanding what they need to do, definitely something that they're going to be working on to resolve. Catch in the jungle, Obstinatus just cannot do anything. And Nemesis with an aggressive rail warp into the back line. Double kill for the Rise. Tayron on the run. Senkuts getting on out of there, but RATONES, they've just got so much mobility. Triple kill for the Rise. And Nemesis is hunting for that Penta. Senkuts flashing on top of him. Velia saving his mid laner's life. No, will end up falling down in the end. RATONES, they can just do whatever they want. Baus is pushing in the bot lane. Velia's pushing in the mid lane, and Verdant, with only Shiganari alive, racing towards that top lane tower. There is nothing they could do to stop this.
Absolute stomp. Absolute stomp. You know it. And, you know, to squeeze out some what feel like obituary words for Verdant for this game, it's important to remember we are thinking this team will still ramp up and probably finish top 4. But right now, I think it's very clear who stands alone at the top as Baus. Is it another death for the sake of it is? And is going to step away? Or is he?
I don't think he is. Noodle's going to be able to take him down. Gold lead shrunk to only 12,000 in Los Ratones' favor.
Can we get a goal for that? Go in for that.
Yeah. If this is a football match, you'd need a hell of a halftime team talk.
That indeed. That indeed.
Got Baron, 15 seconds. Chemtech Soul, just over 40. Verdant have no business being anywhere on the map apart from their own base, but you can see, even still, they're trying to set up something. Obstinatus and Noodle hiding out in the enemy jungle, anticipating a maneuver towards this Baron, but none of the rats are there at the moment.
Who's buffing to the top side? You know what? Screw all the setup, Observer. Let's look at the top lane real quick. Let's see what's going on up there. No. Yeah. Oh no, he's wrong.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Balsi, how do you get on out of this one? Q dash away. Noodle following. Flash over the wall. Baus. He's just different gravy, man.
It's just funnier when he does it. I don't know what else to say. It just, you know, his name tag above his head, just ×2 on the funny meter. By default. Uh-oh. There's a 3-level difference. Senkux will pick up that wave on the top side, I assume. Nope, he's stepping away. Doesn't want anything to do with it.
There could be someone there.
Yeah.
Los Ratones.
You know what? I've seen
able to
Noodle
pick
win
this
these.
up. Yeah, it doesn't have. Oh, a stop DPS. Wait for the mark to fall away. Verdant jungler without flash. Oh, this is just cruel. They can just sit on this for as long as they like. Verdant have to make a move at some point. Baron on 3k. Noodle can get over the wall, but he doesn't even get a chance.
Bloody hell.
And now Los Ratones. Brownie raining down with the bullets. A little bit too far from Verdant to find and engage. They've got a nice stacked wave. A couple of waves stacking in the top lane. The Baron buff. They're going to be able to empower. They're going to be able to push forwards. And Verdant still have all those super minions to deal with. Obstinatus gets caught out in the jungle and he is just dead. Nothing more to be said, though. He's going to pop over the wall and cut through Noodle like butter. Another kill going down. Verdant attempting the defense in their base, but it will not happen. Only one team will stay undefeated in this group, and of course, it's Los Ratones.
That's a boot. Else has to pad the death stats just a bit more.